Once known as the American Rothschilds, they were among the richest family in the United States. But who were they really? Hi everyone, Ken here. Hit that subscribe button and let's explore this house. The American Rothschild saga all began with an immigrant's dream. Joseph Seligman, a 17-year-old German-Jewish newcomer from Bavaria, arrived in the United States in 1837 with only a few dollars in his pocket. By 1846, he and several of his 7 brothers had opened a small dry goods store in New York City, laying the groundwork for what would become J&W Seligman and Company. The brothers fanned out across the country. Some ventured to California during the gold rush and sent bullion back east, effectively turning the family into bankers with an ever-growing gold reserve. Their big break came during the Civil War. The Seligmans landed contracts to supply Union Army uniforms, were paid in government bonds, and shrewdly sold those bonds to investors in Europe. Emulating the Rothschilds' model, they established banking branches in London, Paris, and Frankfurt, becoming one of the first American firms to operate on an international scale. By the 1870s, the Seligmans were involved in financing railroads, urban infrastructure, even the Panama Canal, and Joseph Seligman was so prominent that President Ulysses S. Grant offered him the post of U.S. Treasury Secretary, an offer he declined. The Seligmans had pioneered international banking in America by copying another family's successful business model, which is the main reason the press dubbed them the American Rothschilds. Within this illustrious family, Henry Seligman emerged as a key figure of the next generation. Henry became a senior partner at the family business, carrying their banking legacy into the 20th century. He was instrumental in financing railroad expansion in the American West and served on the boards of several major industrial and cultural organizations. In March of 1899, at age 42, he married Addie Walter, stepping into New York society with a splash. For their primary residence, Henry looked to Manhattan's newest upscale enclave. In 1899, he acquired 2 old brownstones on West 56th Street just off Fifth Avenue's Millionaires Row and hired architect C.P.H. Gilbert to design an entirely new dwelling on the double lot. The result, completed in 1901, was a French Renaissance Revival townhouse clad in elegant limestone. Its dignified facade featured a grand rusticated base and elaborate carved balconies braced by sculpted brackets, all crowned by a steep mansard roof punctuated with ornate dormer windows. Swinging open heavy iron grills, we passed from the vestibule into the entrance hall, clad floor-to-ceiling in heavily striated marble. Directly ahead of us, the grand staircase gracefully cascades, a signature of the architect. Let's make our way up to the main levels. First, we'll step into the dining room, where the coffered cove ceiling steals our attention with gilded figures and floral motifs worked into its design. Not to be overshadowed, the built-in hutch is an equally grand statement piece with delicately carved caryatids flanking glass-paned cabinets. From here we'll continue into the drawing room, blending Georgian pediments with Gilded Age excess, with light paint providing a dramatic contrast to the dark marble columns. Next we'll head into the library, with Gothic tracery found on everything from the millwork to the fireplace, and from built-in bookcases to the room's furniture. Finally, we make our way up to the smoking room, where an oriel window follows the glittering curve of a gilded dome soaring overhead. Though for as lavish as their Manhattan mansion may have been, summers called for a different kind of grandeur. Henry and Addie joined many wealthy German-Jewish families who flocked to Elberon, New Jersey. There, around 1905, the Seligmans built a lavish retreat by the sea that they fondly named Shorelands. Architect C.P.H. Gilbert was again commissioned to bring their vision to life. Broad-covered verandas and terraces wrapped around the house on all sides, capturing ocean breezes, and an open-air roof garden topped with a pergola crowned the center of the structure, perfect for taking in panoramic Atlantic views. The estate's grounds were just as impressive. The property stretched from Ocean Avenue down to the beach, encompassing manicured lawns, flower beds, and tennis courts, plus a host of outbuildings to cater to every need. A charming gate lodge welcomed visitors at the road, and a carriage drive curved gracefully to the mansion's portico. To one side stood a stable, so well designed it looked almost residential, and closer to the shore were private bathing pavilions for seaside changing rooms. In classic Gilded Age fashion, the Seligmans often referred to this palatial summer home simply as their cottage, a tongue-in-cheek understatement common among the rich. In truth, Shorelands was a hub of warm-weather high society. Addie Seligman's parties there in the 1920s were celebrated events, drawing guests for garden parties and lawn luncheons by the sea. It was a seasonal haven where the family could relax and entertain against the backdrop of ocean waves, a perfect complement to their busy New York life. The Seligmans also maintained a third residence, an overgrown and extremely private winter villa in Palm Beach, Florida, aptly named Kasamea. The interior was meant to evoke a sense of rustic sophistication, much in keeping with the popular Mediterranean influence of the area's mansions. Though, they still embrace flamboyant design elements in moderation, including massive stone corbels to support wood ceilings. But even in such unimaginable opulence, every Gilded Age tale must eventually fade. Henry's story reached its end just before Christmas 1933 when he passed unexpectedly of a heart attack in the 56th Street house at the age of 76. This came as a shock to New York society, and sadly, his beloved Addie was too ill to comprehend the news. She passed away only weeks later on January 31st, 1934, never having fully recovered or even learned that she was a widow. Over the following years, the family's direct role in the firm dwindled, and the once tight-knit family of banker brothers dispersed into the pages of history. But what became of the mansions they left behind? The Manhattan townhouse did not remain a private home for long after Henry and Addie were gone. In April 1934, Addie's estate auctioned off the mansion's sumptuous contents. Everything from fine porcelains to bronze sculptures went under the hammer. Yet unlike so many Gilded Age mansions lost to the wrecking ball, Henry Seligman's city mansion miraculously survived. In 2007, New York City designated the 30 West 56th Street house as an official landmark, recognizing its architectural and historical significance. Shorelands, the Elberon estate, did not enjoy the same longevity. The Seligman family eventually parted with the property, and as taste and times changed, the grand cottage by the Atlantic fell into disuse. The final blow came on the night of August 6, 1963, when a catastrophic fire swept through the vacant clapboard mansion, reducing it to charred ruins. Kasamea passed through several hands, eventually being lost as well. And with that, I'll turn it over to you. Which house was your favorite, or maybe something else stuck out to you? Either way, let me know down below in the comments section. And while you're there, make sure you're subscribed so you never miss an exciting episode of This House.